Hello, everyone. Namaste. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope all of you are doing really, really great. So, today we are gathered here in this video to learn about the transit of Mars in its exaltation sign in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. All right. So today we'll be discussing what is the significance of Mars being exalted within a transit, and then what results it can give to each and every zodiac sign, being your ascendant sign or being your moon zodiac sign. All right, so let's get started. But before that, if you guys are new to my channel, please don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon below so that you get regular updates. Also, you can also refer to um, my website for your personal readings, which is www.anmolastrology.com. Under the readings and unique readings section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. Also, you can sign up for the courses. Currently, the complete predictive course is going on, and it will be available, I think, by end of February. It will be available online so that you can purchase online. Right now, I'm not sure if I'm going to take more batches for that particular course because it is a lengthy course and also a very deep one. All right. So, yeah, if I do, I will surely let you guys know. Okay. So, let's get started. Right. So, before we move ahead with the predictions for Mars exalted transit, first, I want to address that why do we refer to the transit of Mars? Why it is important for you to hear this video out. That's because every time Mars transits a particular sign, that sign will hold a key factor or significant importance in regards of where your energy needs to be addressed during that particular time. So, Mars is the natural planet of our energy, of our actions, of our force. So, Mars transit basically represents where our energy is required, where our discipline is required. So, whenever Mars transits a zodiac sign, that zodiac sign is going to hold the importance of our concentration and of our efforts into that area. Now, you will be like, that okay, that's there, but how this can help us, why it is significant to know about that when eventually we are going to have our action being deviated on that side. But remedies are not the remedies that you do by maybe donating something or by doing something, like taking a bowl full of some pulse and just getting it, donated in the temple. You need to make significant changes within yourself, which are required. Only then you will be able to completely satisfy a planet's energy, because the actual change actually comes from within. It's not that just because you are donating something, just because you're asked to, that is going to ultimately change your karma or that is going to help you get better with life. No, only changes within you. You acting, you know, significantly towards what needs to be done is something that can change your karma. I would rather say not completely change the karma, but help you with something better in regards of it, right? It will be a helping hand or it will improve the degree of the karma. Like, for example, if you already know that your Mars is basically transiting a certain house, a certain zodiac sign, and it needs your attention, it requires your attention. So you'll voluntarily be motivated to give your attention onto that house, onto that zodiac sign. Otherwise, if you do not do that voluntarily, sometimes, and that is very much dependent on your birth chart. If your planets are nicely placed onto that house, that will naturally come in a good way. Your action is going to be implemented in a good way. But if you do not have a strong house, you don't have strong planets in that house, or your dasha is not supportive, then something forceful or something circumstantially would come about that will force your action towards that house. So I think this is the easiest remedy you can follow. It's the easiest way that you can satisfy the action of the planets if you know beforehand that this is something that needs my attention, needs my acknowledgement, and needs my action. Then if I do that, my things are going to smoothly work out. Because some things are going to happen similarly to, suppose, for example, two individuals. But how a person perceives the information, how a person reacts to that situation, how a person feels, whether you are taking the problem and solving it with a calm and composed mind, or you're being very frustrated and you're being agitated, that's two different things to the same event. And that's also leading to two different solutions to the same event. So that's the reason it's really, really important to know your Mars transits way more than, any other shorter transits like Mercury, Venus, Sun. It's more important with Mars to know, so that you know where your action needs address, right? Needs to be addressed. All right. So, an exalted Mars. So, Mars gets exalted in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. All right. In the sign of Capricorn, or in the 10th house, Mars is also Digbali. It's strong. It finds its direction. So Capricorn is the natural 10th house. It is ruled by the planet Saturn. It is the house or the zodiac sign of boundaries. It is the house or the zodiac sign of your career, your social responsibilities, your karma, your execution of karma. 10th house is your public image. 10th house is also the happiness that you get from your marriage. So Capricorn is a feminine sign which has its implication, or which has its action to be, reflected or to be performed in a very masculine way. So it's a combination of the feminine side and the masculinity as well. Because Capricorn is said to be, like, for example, if it's a mother, Capricorn is said to be the mother who is not just looking after the home chores, but is also bringing the food on the table. Not the one who just cooks the food, but also brings that food to the table. That's the dedication, that's the determination with Capricorn. Now, when Mars comes to this particular zodiac sign, that means now your energy is no longer scattered. Because, see, Mars is merely the planet of energy, it's the planet of action. Being into certain zodiac signs, your energy can either be scattered, your energy can either be content, or your energy can be slow. It can be really fast and furious, right? So, when it comes into the 10th house or into the zodiac sign of Capricorn, Mars feels healthy. Mars is able to give out its energy and to give out all its traits in a very, not gentle, sorry, in a very open way. It is like that this zodiac sign basically offers Mars that ground to act upon. So 10th house is your career. 10th house is you being associated with the people that you meet as a part of your career. And Mars, being the planet of flamboyancy, it is the planet of your status. Mars is always focused on growth, or Mars is always focused on the growth of your status and your lifestyle. Mars always wants to be associated itself with people who can benefit Mars, who can give some productivity back to Mars. So that's why Mars is a very self sufficient and also very self-centered energy. In the zodiac sign of Capricorn, Mars is quite determined. Its energy gets into the boundary where it senses what is the importance of discipline and how do I utilize that discipline, that qualities, that energy of mine into a particular direction. So, till the time this Mars is transiting the zodiac sign of Capricorn, which happens to be from 16th of January 2026 till 23rd of February 2026, this Mars is actually going to be far more determined than ever. But does your determination just comes like that? It just comes, just suddenly? No, always, wherever your Capricorn sign is, wherever your Mars is transiting in the Capricorn sign, that area is going to give you some sort of dissatisfaction, some sort of, you know, some sort of some sort of feeling of that you're not being able to get the best out of that area. You're not being able to express completely and to utilize to be productive onto that particular house and particular area. So what happens is when you go through this dissatisfactory process, since Capricorn is a earth sign, it's a little bit slow. It's also ruled by Saturn. It is slow, steady, patient process. So Mars, when enters into the zodiac sign, it is first going to give you that dissatisfaction, unproductivity, and a little bit of frustration and agitation onto that area, that why this is happening, why, I'm getting dissatisfied, what should I do, how do I make things better in this particular, area, in this particular house. Then Mars will actually be like a, house help. Mars will become the maid, the house help, or the cleaner of that particular house. Mars will now try to clean every every unnecessary thing that is present in that house, and will accumulate or collect all the things that it needs to go to a certain journey, to go to a certain direction. So Mars first declutters that house with its exaltation position, and then it collects all these resources that it can use to go on a journey, to go on a process where it is determined to fulfill the action associated with that house. So then it acts quite determined, and then it starts acting quite disciplined. And it is non destructive. Mars in the zodiac sign of Capricorn is focused and cannot be distracted. So, this process of not being distracted, this process of being highly concentrate only comes through a difficult process. When you start ignoring the unnecessary factors, you start ignoring the unnecessary chaos or unnecessary sounds that are coming in the surrounding. So that is what this Mars is going to bring. That is the whole theme, the whole story this Mars is going to play out onto that particular house and further lead towards its journey, further lead towards its destination. Now, at the moment when we have Mars exalted, we actually have Mars present with Sun, Venus, and Mercury. Those planets are going to leave the zodiac sign by the end of January, and then Mars will be solo there. You know, First it will be with Sun, then further Sun is going to travel, I think, on 12th or 13th into the zodiac sign of Aquarius, and then we will have Mars alone into this sign. So that means that these planets are trying to give their energy or manipulate the energy of Mars with their own significances, right? But Mars will actually go through all these distractions, go through all these mixed, confused energy, and come out and bring in growth into that area. So, with firstly being Sun, Venus, and Mercury along with Mars, although Mars is going to be at the lowest degrees, so it is going to hold the strength, it is going to hold the power, but it being with all these planets, this particular action, this particular dedication is going to actually be manipulated because of relationships, because of the need of bringing balance in communication, relationship, and your authority. At the same time, you will see that all these things, Sun, which is your authority, your persona, Mercury, which is your communication and which is your skills, Shukra, Venus, which is your relationships, which is your luxury. All of these things will actually get the energy of Mars. That means you would want to discipline your authority, you would want to act more towards your authority, you would bring in structure within your communication, you will bring in structure within your skills and improvising and growth, and bring in growth within your skills. Then your relationships are also going to feel that boundary, that restriction, and the structure that is going to given in the relationships. So if suppose your relationships have been haywired since a long time, or they have been into a struggle since a long time, now it's the time that where you are going to set your foot stronger than ever in terms of your relationship. It means all these planets, all these matter receiving the energy of Mars, and that to exalted Mars, means they're trying to discipline all the factors. They're trying to make all these factors as transparent as possible. So when it's about you projecting your authority, you deciding on something that is going to be solid, that is going to be a firm decision that is going to be required in wherever the zodiac sign of Capricorn falls. When it comes to love and relationships, you're no longer going to be non-transparent. You're no longer going to be just saying something or doing something for the sake of the other person. Rather, you're marking your own authority there. You're trying to bring in a structure into a relationship. You're going to set boundaries within the relationships, that no, this is something that I am open to, and rest all, if you take me out of that comfort zone, I am not willing to come out. I'm not willing to act beyond what I feel is correct for me. Then, with communication, with Mercury's transit along with Mars, it is going to bring very structured and blunt communication within your communications. It's no longer a time where you're just being manipulated, you're being secretive, nothing. Just up on the face, criticizing, and also very structured and organized. And that too, you will add into your skills as well. So, because Venus is present there, because Sun, Mercury, and Mars is present there, you will also be very structured and very dedicated towards something creative, and you will make your creativity grow. So all of us are going to try to work upon our creativity. It's not just you are sitting, in your personal zone, in your comfortable zone, maybe in your home and something, and you're just trying to create something. No, you are going to materialize it now. You're going to bring it out now. That's what this calls for. All right. So that's what is the introduction and the meaning of Mars transit in the zodiac sign of Capricorn. Now let's go from each and every zodiac sign and understand how this Mars is bringing its action into the zodiac sign of Capricorn. But before that, let us understand through the Muhurta chart. Now, for some people, if you do not know why do we refer to Muhurta chart, I would say first of all, this is significantly important to at least have a look towards the Muhurta chart of any planet's transit. That's because the Muhurta chart is going to tell you the whole theme about that transit. At some places, due to geographical differences, the Muhurta chart can be different for a different person, or for a different person living at a different, place, living in a different country. But since you're coming to me, you're watching my video, I'm going to take the Muhurta chart from my particular location, because that's the information that universe wants you to have because of me, right, through me. So that's why I would take the Muhurta chart of how this particular transit is happening at my location, and that is going to give me the theme of that particular zodiac sign. And further, we'll start the predictions from that particular sign only. All right. So let me share my screen. So the Muhurta chart that we have is the ascendant as Scorpio with a debilitated moon in the first house in the nakshatra of Jyeshtha, and also the rising is Jyeshtha. Then the ascendant lord going into the third house, which is Mars exalted in the third house, conjunct Sun and Mercury. So before I move for the predictions of the zodiac sign of Scorpio, let's understand what this Muhurta chart is basically trying to tell us. So because of the fact that this is a Jyeshtha Nakshatra ascendant, this means, and with a debilitated moon in the ascendant, that means that during this Mars transit, the energy that we shall have, the energy that we are going to have is going to be very toxic and negative in nature. The actions that we are going to take, the discipline that is going to be formed, that discipline that is going to come in onto us within our actions, that is going to come because it was led by something negative. It was led by some negative, you know, feelings that we have on the inside. When it is Jyeshtha, just like the story associated with Jyeshtha, Jyeshtha was the eldest of all and was very jealous, easily prone to jealous, revengeful nature, and feeling abandoned. So, the energy, the themes that are going to be significant is that we would need to take the charge of something because of the reason we felt abandoned. We felt, you know, an individual, a native felt that I was not appreciated. I have to take my charge back. The feeling of jealousy, the feeling of vengeance, the feeling of revenge is going to be there. And it is going to emotionally and psychologically affect an individual the most. That's the reason we are going to be motivated to take the charge back and act as the eldest one. Even if we are not willing to act like one, we are not willing to take the responsibility. But for the matter that we need to bring in that growth, we need to bring in that change, we will have to take the charge. We will have to take the responsibility of acting as the eldest. And that would require some sort of sacrifice as well. All right. So, this particular time of this Mars exaltation works beautifully for structuring our actions, for structuring our communication onto something productive, onto something good. So, like for example, since the ascendant lord here in this Muhurta chart in this is going into the third house, that means if, for example, a Scorpio individual is struggling with their job, or they are into a situation where they have to decide on something with their job scenario, with their stability within their job, it is required for them to fight back. It is required for them to take a certain authoritative and significant fixed, a firm step and decision in regards of their career, in regards of their job. There is the time that they act as a person who is the eldest, who has all those skills and needs to fight for that skills, even though they on the inside have a very fearful emotion. They are accumulated and backed by the fear that why this is happening with me and what will happen in the future, what am I going to do. But still, oh, even though you have that fear, even though you have that emotion within you, but you have to come out of it, and you don't have to show that on the outside. That's the reason there's a debilitated moon in the zodiac sign of Scorpio, but the dispositor is getting exalted in the third house, third from itself. That means your actions do not have to project your fear that is instilled within you. And this particular fear is actually going to act as a motivator, actually going to act as a catalyst for you to go towards your growth. Decide on something firm, be decisive, and work towards it. Bring an effort towards it, bring in structure and growth towards that matter. So for all of us, this feeling of fear is, so, even if you're feeling a sense of fear, a sense of detachment, abandonment within yourself, do not feel that this is something negative that is happening in your life. Rather, this is a catalyst. This is a negative motivation that is coming your way. All right. So for this matter, with this Muhurta chart, it is extremely important for us to take the charge of wherever our Mars is going and wherever our moon is present, right? And to work on growing our efforts, to be disciplined, organized, and productive with our actions, efforts, and also with our skills. This is the time to take charge with having some secrets on the inside, and those secrets are more psychological in nature. It's not the time to show your weakness. Rather, it's time to use your weakness, use your weaker side, to keep it hidden, but to act in a stronger way. It's the time to be, to have that kind of shield among you, where you are securing your weak side with a you know, very strong shield and action on the outside. All right. So that's what we require. At the same time, see, Mercury is in Uttara Ashar in Sagittarius. It is helping you. Your communication is also helping you. Your mind is also giving you that energy and that boost of feeling like an invincible one, for acting like an invincible one. So it shows me more of the fact that with this Mars exalted, it's the time to definitely put on a growth on your skills, with your efforts, and with your communication, to be, to fight back your fears. And all the other factors are supportive. All the other factors are basically giving you that energy. It's only your psychology, it's only your mind, it's only your emotions which is troubling or which is on the weaker side. And that's something secret. That's something on the inside. Doesn't have to come outside, because if that comes outside, then whatever you have planned, whatever you have strategized, that might not come out, and that might not work out for you. And this would also happen in relationships, since we have the seventh lord also with being Venus within this conjunction, and Rahu is in the fourth house from the Muhurta chart. The becheni, the impatience within your heart, um, the impatience and the need to get a growth, the need to bring in a change, is actually within your heart and troubling your peace of mind. So that is also pushing you towards this factor. So I think it is a very victorious time. It's a matter of victory, but you have to control, you have to take the control of your weaknesses alongside as well. Now, coming to the zodiac sign of Scorpio, this Mars is the lord of your ascendant and your sixth house, coming into the third house, exalted, conjunct with your 10th lord, seventh lord, and your 12th lord. Trust me, for all the Scorpios, whether you are into job or you are into business, this is the time for you to reassure what's happening within your job or business. This is the time that you don't let others initiate or let others take the charge of your surroundings, of your actions. It's you who needs to be responsible. You will have to fight back, and you will have to prepare yourself for the worst possibility, because Mars in the third house calls for great valor and courage. And whenever any planet in the third house causing that great valor and courage, right? If it is causing, that means it is going to be required for a person. God gives strength to those those who have the power of endurance. And that's what this means. That Scorpios, you are going through a strong inner battle of fighting for what you feel should shouldn't have happened with you. So there's a very, very strong emotion, and that too strong negative emotion that has been affecting in yourself, and but you are not willing to bring that emotion out and let people know that yes, I'm scared, yes, I am not taking this well. All right, but that's good, because this weakness of yours is going to motivate you to fight back towards yourself, towards your efforts. You know you have so much talent, you know you have so much to give, right? It's only that the circumstances are not working your way. But you know why the circumstances are not working your way? Because they want to bring in a significant change in your karma. They want to basically make you dive towards your destiny. That's what is required here. Also, a Scorpio individual would have to take care of their health. And for this while, when Mars has transited in the zodiac sign of Capricorn, you need to go and hit the gym. You need to go out there and, be physically present, because this energy, the psychological energy, is basically draining you within with this exalted Mars. That's why only if you are willing to take the charge of your efforts, you're willing to do certain actions, you're willing to go out there and not just sit in that negative zone, only then this Mars will give you that victory. You need to get out, you need to speak for yourself, right? And actually, if you are married or if you are in a relationship, your partner can be very supportive of it. Your partner will be the one to criticize you for whatever is happening and how you are taking those things onto yourself. But at the same time, your partner is going to act as a supporting factor in your life. All right, it's just there can be a little bit of distance because of your emotional health. There can be a detachment within the relationships also, but at the same time, you know there will be a uncalled support from especially females and authoritative people. Okay, so right now you have to be your own guidance. All right, so you need to get out of this negative zone and work towards your growth, your settlement, and it's a time to fight. Simply, if I conclude in one line, it is the time to fight back. Fight back for yourself and be consistent with your effort. Be consistent with your actions. Do not just give up. Do not give up. All right. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. So, Mars in the second house, exalted. This is the lord of your 12th and the lord of your fifth house. Definitely a strong, strong expense you are going to have starting from January 16th. A big expenditure you have to make in regards of your finances, and that expenditure is going to be made for adding on something within your assets, within your possessions. So either you're purchasing something, you're purchasing a vehicle, you're purchasing a car for yourself, or you're purchasing a property, something that adds on to your possessions, to your fixed assets. That's what you're doing. But at the same time, you're very feared of how am I going to do this expenditure? How am I going to manage my finances? So your finances have somehow given you that sort of dissatisfaction for the fact, because you know that there are some things that need your address. that there are some things that need your action towards your expenses and your finances. So, till the time this Mars is exalted in the second house, this is going to actually initiate you worrying a lot about your finances. You also worrying a lot about your family for some reason, right? So, worry related to family, worry related to your provision towards family is something that is taking up most of your mind, and that is instilling a sense of negativity or a sense of fear into your subconscious mind. So you are fearful about how am I going to do this expenditure? Am I going to manage my finances now on? So that's something that is very evident here. But at the same time, this is not going to go in vain. Any investment that you're doing, any expenditure that is happening only which is going to add to the growth of your finances and your accumulation of assets. At the same time, there can be a little bit of complication within your family and your family environment, and that could be because of a old fight or a fight over properties, real estate, and that needs to be addressed. That is something you're going to deal with, and that is going to add some burden over your head. At the same time, see, you have Mercury in the ascendant and Jupiter in the seventh house, that too retrograde. Communication seems to be quite aggressive. And I see you being Sagittarius is to being, very up on the face, very blunt and very receptive, very, reactive with their communication. And this can actually make you misunderstand. This can actually make people to misunderstand you. Because of the reason, there can be a very conflicting and misunderstood energy with others. But this Mars is currently the way that I am saying this. I am being brutally honest. I don't care what else you want from me, what else you say. So the matters related to your home, your family, your finances, and your overall stability, your overall growth is at question, is also something that is actually making you feel that fear, feel that, unnecessary thoughts rolling over because of all these factors. All right. So that's what I have for Sagittarius. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Capricorn. So, Capricorn is the exaltation sign, and Mars is coming into your ascendant, becoming exalted. This Mars is your 11th and your fourth lord coming into your first house, which is creating a very strong Raj Yoga into your first house. That means when this Mars gets exalted onwards, ahead of that particular time, this Mars is going to add on, since you have Moon in the 11th house. So something that happens within your social circle, the way your social image got out there, the way your interaction happened within your social circle, your social, in your society, in your corporate side, that basically made you understand or made you feel that I am getting jealous. The feeling of jealousy, feeling of being put down, it has been there. And now it's the time for you to fight back that feeling by bringing in growth within yourself and within your finances also. But one thing I would suggest is that do not fool yourself. Do not take a decision merely for the fact that I need to prove that I am worthy more than what you are. So do not go into that unnecessary tiff, unnecessary competition within your social circle, within your friend circle, just because you want to prove them, you want yourself to be seen, to be heard. Do not indulge into some huge expenditure. Sometimes we suppose, for example, a friend of yours bought a BMW and you have that money to buy a BMW, but that's not a justified expense that you would call it for yourself. But just because that person bought it, you somehow got that push within yourself that I also need this. I also need to get this. So you tightened yourself, you got way beyond your means, and then you bought a BMW, way expensive than what your friend had, just to prove yourself. So that's an instance I want to give for the energy that I'm getting from this exalted Mars. If you want to prove yourself, prove them by growing. Prove them that you are better than them by your actions, not by this, childish schemes. That's what is the signal here. So, this Mars coming into your first house, sometimes Mars in the first house, and that too in dignity or in a good sign, can actually make you blindfolded. The immense energy of Mars in the ascendant can sometimes make you not use your brain and your logical side. It burns your intelligence, it burns your sense of rationality, of being rational with your decisions. Sometimes you become so status oriented that it plays with your head. And you end up taking certain decisions which are not healthy, which might make you look like you have the highest status, you have the highest honor. But it will not let you grow from within. And that's the lesson you need to, you know, learn with this exalted Mars. This exalted Mars in your ascendant can give you a temporary recognition, a temporary gain, a temporary elevation. But you need to keep your foundation in check at the same time. At the same time, you'll be motivated to create comforts for yourself because I'm being promoted. I'm being, getting something more than what I had earlier. So that is definitely there. But since being an astrologer, my task or my duty is to tell you what can harm you. So that's why I think most of the astrologers who actually think well for the listeners, the viewers, they go for the negative prediction first because they do not want you to indulge into that. All right. So keep a good check on your finances, on the way you are deciding on things. Rest all. It's a brilliant time. It's a progressive time for your career, for yourself, for your own personality. And you will have to take a charge of your life. You will have to take the authority of your life in a very strict way. This is the time to remove all the distractions from your life and just work on yourself. Just work on your growth. All right. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Aquarius. For Aquarius individuals, we have Mars exalted going into the 12th house. And this Mars is your 10th lord, your third lord. 10th and third lord coming into the 12th house, significant shift in your career. Let me give you an example. For an Aquarius individual, they can give up their job during this time to pursue their education, to pursue their passion. You have been passionate about maybe astrology since a very long time. Now you're going to take a step forward, leave your job, exit from your job, or you're going to minimize your dedication towards your job and start something for your own and maybe start a page on astrology. So This calls for a major transition that is going to come about on the part of your career, but that is going to have a good outcome. That is going to have a positive, growing outcome. And for that, there has to be something very creative that is there. So, definitely, you'll be bringing in structure within your finances. You'll try to structure your expenditure, your finances, your savings in a proper manner. This is the time you acknowledge your expenses and work towards them in a positive manner. Earlier, I think for an Aquarius individual, things have been so up and down, so unpredictable, and there has been areas where they were not at all appreciated, they were not at all recognized, but still they worked their way through it. So this is the time to reap fruits of that. This is the time to strategize within your subconscious mind with your skills, with your agendas, and to work towards them. Definitely, your fear lies within your career. Your fear lies within the society. And even certain legal matters you'll have to take care of. But trust me, the victory is yours. The victory is going to come through very unexpected means, especially through legal matters or some family related disputes, because Saturn at the same time is in the second house, Jupiter is in the fifth house, some money matters, money divisions. And even this could be a part of your career, that in your career you were cheated on with money, or you were not given the right amount of money and you decided to fight for it. So this is a very, very strong position with Mars, Venus, and Sun in the 12th house for being victorious in a very unexpected manner. But it will first let you deal with legalities. It will first let you deal with your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind during this time, for those who do not have any legalities or do not have that based on their dasha, whichever is going on, this is merely about your subconscious mind. It's your understanding towards things. So the fear that came because of your career, that is now being manifested within your skills, that you are trying to improvise your skills or doing something that you felt that this makes me feel at peace. This makes me feel happy. This is my passion. You're trying to indulge more into that and materializing that out there. All right. So overall, this is a good time. And other thing is that Mars in the 12th house, being exalted, can also initiate your travel. Since this Mars is conjunct the fourth, ninth, and seventh house, sitting in the 12th house, this is going to clear the blockages within your travel. If there would have been blockages previously, now it is going to actually clear those blockages within the time frame when it is exalted. All right. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Pisces. For Pisces individuals, this Mars is exalted in the 11th house. I feel personally, as per my experience, Mars in the 11th house, being exalted or being in a good, friendly sign, even sometimes in a negative sign, can actually work very, very smartly for an individual. These are the individuals who are going to connect with their social circle or people within the society so as to gain something out of it, so as to gain something out of those associations. So they're very clever, they're very intelligent with where they need to stand, where they need to build a communication. So for Pisces individuals, uh, Unlike what energy you have been having because of Saturn's presence in your ascendant, lot of judgments, with Rahu in the 12th house at the same time, lots of judgments, lots of obsessions, lots of unpredictable expenditure that you have been having, lots of unpredictable events also that you have been having, unpredictable visits to clinics and hospitals also, which you are having. This particular timeline, the month of January and February, is exceptional to it. The fear lies in, you know, this has been, a certain pattern has been going on since, more than 2 to 3 years from now, right? So now you are feared that will my luck work this time? Will my luck be favorable to me this time? But at the same time, you are fearing this fact so much that certainly your belief is getting negative. But even though your action and your belief that is coming in a negative, that is actually being, planted or initiating in a negative way, but this is actually coming out to give you something beautiful, to give you something stronger than ever. So the actions, the associations that you're going to have within your social circle that are going to be led by difficulty, that are going to be led because of fear. But the ultimate result would be very unexpectedly good. All right. So the Saturn is the lord of your ninth house and your second house, coming into the 11th house. That is a strong dhan yog. So whatever you plan to do within January and February, this is going to give you immense recognition and immense money as well, because this is making a strong Raj Yog. Only you need to verify the same with your ongoing dasha, with your ongoing Antar dasha specifically. Antar and Pratyantar. You can leave Maha Dasha, but Antar and Pratyantar should be compensating, should be showing some gain. Because it shows me victory. It shows me that you're going to act victorious. So this is going to make you feel that suddenly this is happening with me because of the fact the past has been a little bit difficult. The past has been very unpredictable. All right, now this Mars is acting positive for your moon as well, because it's the dispositor of moon, the debilitated moon. The dispositor is positive. So the ultimate outcome is positive. This Mars sits with the sixth lord, third lord, and the eighth lord. Unpredictability, like totally unpredictable. Totally sudden things are going to happen for these 2 months. But the outcome is very, very positive. The outcome is growth. The Saturn has given you your lesson. Now it's the time to reap the fruits of Saturn. Only thing is, be considerate of your ethics. Be considerate of your ethical self. Do not let your fears get so much into your psychology, so much into your psychological self, that it is going to end up and make you do some negative, actions. Because 10th house is the action, but ninth house is what triggers that action, what makes that action. Since suppose I have to move my hand, right, my brain is going to give the signal to my hand with the nerves, and then my hand is going to come about and move. So what gives you the signal, what gives the signal of taking the action? That is the ninth house. So that signal will be packed up with fear, packed up with negative emotion of vengeance, revenge. But make sure this is not temporary victory. Make sure this is permanent. For that, You need to find strength within your emotions. You will need to find strength within your ethics. All right. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Aries. For Aries individuals, Mars is exalted in the 10th house, right at the space it should be. In the 10th house, it's Digbali, it's exalted, it's right in its place. But Moon is in the 8th house. All right. So your emotions for this particular scenario, this particular Mars exalted, packed with fears, packed with secrets. And some secrets of your life are going to come out. And you'll be most feared about it. That what if this comes out? I don't want everyone to know this. This is like, getting into my privacy. This is not healthy for me. That's all the thoughts that are going to go into your mind. But own that secrets. Once you own them, you are victorious. No one is going to, harm you. For Aries individuals, one more thing I would suggest is you are subject to politics within your surroundings, within your workspace, within your personal life during this time. Definitely, you'll be interacting or you'll be getting associated with hidden politics. And whenever this comes out, whenever someone in your workspace, especially, it's a very chaotic time. January is going to be very chaotic in terms of your career and your career space. You're going to have ego battles, ego issues, authority problems, and especially with females and authoritative people, male, female, both, and that too authoritative ones. Maybe your boss, maybe someone who is eventually very authoritative in nature. You're going to have your struggles, your portion of struggles with them. And as a result, they would try to take you as a bait or as a victim of hidden politics. But you need to own that. You need to own yourself, your dignity. That's the only way for you to be victorious. Don't be the one to go and lunge on someone else. Be in your own power, be in your own dignity. Let them do what they want to do. They would eventually end up benefiting you. Trust me on this. Your sixth lord is going into the ninth house. Your enemies are going to give you the luck, give you the fortune somehow. All right. So for Aries individuals, Mars is your first and your eighth lord. You are going to be the one to be present within your career. You are going to be doubted. Your presence is going to be doubted. Your personality is going to actually have a significant transformation when it's about your career, when it's about your authority, when it's about your social presence. But somehow you will be able to fight through it. And then see Jupiter, retrograde Jupiter in the third house, then Mercury in the ninth house. The misunderstanding out of communication, out of your ethical self. So be aware of your workspace. At the same time, keep on working towards your own growth. Be dedicated, be disciplined with your actions, and no one will be able to harm you. And especially Aries individual, be careful of women. If you are a male, even if you are a female, be aware of other women, female friends, or female colleagues, female authorities as well. Take a charge of yourself. And at the same time, I feel after this exaltation, you might be able to bring in some change in your job scenario. into your profession and work. But this is a time which is quite vulnerable and fragile and will make you deal with your presence in your career. Your personality will be first doubted, and then the strength will come about. All right. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Taurus. For Taurus individual, Mars is getting exalted in the ninth house. You know, when I was very little and I was actually trying to learn astrology, at that point of time, my mother always used to say that a person with a very weak chart, but if they have Mars in the ninth house, it's like Lord Hanuman and Mata Parvati is actually holding that child, is holding that person as if they are their child. Because Mars is the actually not Mata Parvati, sorry, she is Ma Durga only, but Ma Durga, and because though both of them, Lord Hanuman and Ma Durga, are the significators of Mars. So both of them are saving these children, are saving these natives. All right. So Mars exalted in the ninth house and then Moon in the seventh house debilitated. This Mars is the lord of your seventh and your 12th house coming into your ninth house. There could be some sense of restriction, some sense of loss or abandonment that has come about within you because of relationships or because of your association with others. And this sense of abandonment, this sense of, feeling alone, feeling left out is basically happening because the universe wants you to understand how powerfully you can stand alone, how you can strongly be independent. Trust me, with a Jupiter retrograde in your second house and Mercury right opposite to it in Uttarashad in the eighth house, this is a very transformative time for you. Transformative regarding your personality. This is the time you understand and walk through your independence. Generally, Taurus individuals are the one, they are not dependent, but they love to be comforted by the presence of their partners, by the presence of their loved ones. So you won't see a very independent self with Taurus, but rather a very home oriented or a relationship oriented individual. But the problems that you're going to experience within your relationship, the fear of abandonment, the fear of, not having the right attention from your spouse, not having the right affection and emotional satisfaction with your spouse, or maybe deception from your spouse is actually going to lead towards your own self growth. This particular 2 months are very strong for you to build your sense of belief, your sense of ethics, and you understanding how significantly important it is for you to have a stand of your own, for you to have decisions of your own. So that's the lesson you are receiving because of your own fear attached to the seventh house, because of the actions that has folded in a certain way through your seventh house, through the other people that you associate yourself with, through your spouse, through the other people. All right. So, this is a time where it's not the matter of luck, it's not the matter that you're unlucky. So, anything happens for these 2 months, it's absolutely not that you're not lucky. It's just that universe wants you to understand and, acknowledge your own strength. This Mars gets conjunct with your fourth lord, with your first lord, and your sixth lord. You would require to have your own villa. It's the process of refinement and transformation of your beliefs, of your stand, of your own strength. All right. So that's what I have for Tauruses. Now, Gemini. So for Gemini individuals, Mars is going exalted in the eighth house. And then we have Moon in the sixth house. I think for Geminis, it has been the hardest for having the routine that you want, for having the kind of work environment that you wanted. Just like I think it was the zodiac sign of Aries that I talked about. Just like Aries, now Geminis are also going to be subject to hidden politics and the transformation that is going to come about through it. But see, your own emotions and your own reactions can actually trigger the complications of the situation. So this Jupiter is in your ascendant, but it is retrograde currently. That means it is going way deep into the information where maybe it is not much required to go into. Then Mercury in your seventh house is making you have your intelligence based on the others. Have you take your decisions based on the others, which makes your dependency goes upon, which is make you and become dependent on others. This could misunderstand your personality. People can actually misunderstand your personality, misunderstand your actions. As a result, you will be categorized as deceptive. You will be categorized as a person who is not true to what they say, who is not true to their actions. So that is what is basically happening right now, and you need to transform yourself out of this. You need to act smart and act as a player who is operating very secretively. Now, this also calls for a time where you'll have to deal with the assets or the money and the finances of your spouse. There can be some strong rigidness, some strong boundaries that are going to come about from your in-laws side, or from your just coming in as a part of secret politics, that people are trying to put you down, people are trying to restrict you with your actions, and as a result your actions actually are required to be secretive. Currently, for these 2 months, you are actually attracting very jealous souls. People who are full of jealousy, people who are full of competition towards you. So you are required to go secretive with your actions. Only then you can be victorious. So even if you plan something, do not announce it. Already you're getting that lesson through where this Jupiter's transit in the first in the sign of Gemini, then Cancer, then coming back to Gemini. You have already been getting this lesson of yours. So now it's the time for you to understand that how important it is to not be overly expressive, to not overly communicate. So try to be a little secretive with the tasks that are very important to you, that you need, that you want, that they should happen to be. So be secretive with your actions, be secretive with the important aspects of your life till the time they are not fulfilled. And this time is that where you are going to deal with secret enemies, and where you would understand that the people that you considered to be your own, are your biggest enemies. At the same time, I also see some sort of disturbance happening within your family matters. There's a strong energy that is dedicated towards financial management, finances, bringing in growth within your fixed assets. All right. So next we have the zodiac sign of Cancer. For Cancer individuals, Mars is exalted in the seventh house. So you are going to deal with others, whether it's your partner, whether it's your spouse, whether it's anyone. It's a friend, male friend, anyone that is not stranger, that is the other person to you. You will have to deal with them. And this is the time when you put boundaries with what the other people are bringing towards you, with how your energy is being deviated towards others and how others are acting towards you. You need to set boundaries to that. Cancerians usually are the ones who overgive. That's the biggest problem of Cancerians, that they overgive. And now it's the time that you structure that overgiving nature of yours towards others, not just in relationships, everywhere in your surroundings. You have at the same time moon debilitated in the fifth house. If your ex comes back, you will make sure to not entertain them anymore because they might do. All right. So for Cancerians, this is a very brutally honest time. This is a time where they are putting everyone in place. All right. This Mars is the lord of your fifth and your 10th house. Even if you wanted your best to be romantically indulging into relationships, that is going to be one hell of the task. Do not entertain others only for the fact that you are feeling that you're not going to get love in the future. That what if I'm bound to have no one? Do not get indulged into anything just because of this feeling, because this feeling is quite temporary. But what you do because of this feeling within your relationships can be permanent, and you can end up losing yourself. You can end up hurting yourself. So be considerate, be careful, and also be careful with the competition. Be careful with others. Do not over communicate, and do not, you know, turn yourself into fights, into debate situation. Do not argue a lot. If someone argues with you, you are undefeatable. You're going to put them into place. But if you try to do that or initiate that by yourself, that might be a problem. That might be you know, a situation that can ruin your peace. At the same time, for the Cancerians who are actually going through, maybe you are going to give a exam, a competitive exam. Be careful with your listening and reading skill. Be careful and very cautious with hearing or listening the instructions and reading the instructions and reading everything out. Do not miss on something, because I feel that your mind is currently very disturbed and you are getting unnecessary thoughts in your mind. And this could even be a relationship a past relationship, a past friendship, which is basically causing this lack of being able to concentrate. Also, this can be a fear that is generated into your mind because of exams, because of the pressure. Do not let it go in a way that it will play with your head and it will be, it will affect your exams. You can be undefeatable. You can be victorious with your exams. Absolutely. The only problem that I see within your chart, if you have your exams in between January to February, the only problem is lack of concentration, unnecessary distractions. And that is going to happen either because of whatever people that you associate yourself with, your friends, or your past love, or your current love situation. So avoid that for a while because, people can wait. Exams and your career cannot, right? Of course, you can also get into another career. You can go out there. You can be, be doing be following a certain passion at any moment of time. But if you have exams right now, you're dedicated towards receiving it. Then it is that you are going to go repetitive with that. Do not lose it because of something which can wait. All right. So this Mars exalted, being the Lord of the 10th house and the fifth house, coming into the seventh house, being conjunct with the fourth, second, fourth, and 11th lords. This can actually give you beautiful recognition within your career. If you are not into studies and everything, if you are into career, it can give you beautiful recognition in your business, in your career, and your money can also come because of investors. Some people are going to either want to collaborate with you or they would love to invest their money into your business, into your work. So it's a good time for promotion, it's a good time for recognition, and it's a good time for attracting investors also. But just do not lose your confidence. Project your confident self in a way that is your strength. Beneath, you might be struggling with your confidence. Beneath, you might be getting troubles with your confidence. All right? But do not let it project outside. Now, next we have the zodiac sign of Leo. For Leo individuals, Mars is transiting in the sixth house. Whenever Mars transits the sixth house, that too in a good position, in a good zodiac sign, and with planets which are healthy to this, it always gives beautiful results as a part of your competition, as a part of winning out of the competition. But currently you're already going through a very, very transformative phase. And then you have Moon in the fourth house. Your own emotions are basically deceiving you. You have fear of losing everything. You have fear within your heart for some reason. And it's a very vulnerable time that you have. And also, I feel this can also be showing that there's some strong things, strong fight like situations that are happening either internally within your heart, with your peace of mind, where you're not being able to feel peaceful, or within your home situation. So, a drastic change that is going to happen within your home, in your home situation, which will be quite conflicting, but at the same time, it will be a matter of victory. This Mars is the lord of your fourth house and your ninth house, coming into your sixth house. This is your yoga karka, and it is getting exalted in the sixth house. That means the difficult matters of home, the difficult matters of being uncomfortable is actually going to make you achieve your victory. This is the time where you would have to act very, very disciplined with your work and with your health, nutrition. You, your mind is basically getting bombarded with a lot of fears regarding your health, regarding your home situation, regarding a significant change that you are expecting to come. But at the same time, this is making you gain strength. This is making you gain the intelligence to deal with the unexpected. So, this is the best time that you can use for research into investments, research on making passive income on the side, and working towards it as well. This Mars, being the lord of the fourth and ninth, is being conjunct with the first, third, and 10th lords. That means your career would also require a significant transformation and the way you operate within your career environment. Definitely, you're going to be subject to hidden politics and hidden competition that is going to arise within your workspace. That ultimately would want you to address your competition, deal with it, and win over it. Also, this talks about debts. You're going to clear all your debts within these 2 months. All right. So that's about the zodiac sign of Leo. Now, Virgos. For Virgo individuals, you have exalted Mars in the fifth house. This is the lord of your third and your eighth house. Coming into the fifth house, a very, very transformative time with your confidence and with your understanding of things. So, Virgo individuals would have to do something extremely creative with their skills. You would have to actually declutter all the ideas and unnecessary ideas that you have in your mind and in your heart, and actually to work upon in a very systematic and ordered way, organized way towards your skills, towards your knowledge. And this is something funny, but for a Virgo individual, this is the time you understand the patterns of gambling, the patterns of speculation with shares, speculations. But you know what? Just by listening to this, don't go out and start investing into shares for temporary, for, quick profits or start gambling. No, first of all, it will give you that dissatisfaction of your own intelligence. That I thought this share is going to rise, but rather it fell down. And you know why this will happen in the beginning? Because these planets are going to check that how do you doubt yourself, how you are not consistent with what you believe, how with you are not consistent with your own analysis. So what would you require? You require to be confident, you require to be consistent. No problem if that particular share fell down, even after your analysis was that it will rise up. Wait for some time. Wait for 2 to 3 days for it to rise back significantly. So that's what this Mars is playing with. It is playing with your speculative mind. So you're going to go into probabilities. So I actually gave you a simplest example. A simplest example which involved shares, gambling, some in money from investments. But if you talk about this on a personal level, this would even be with your own ideas, with your own decisions within your personal life and your professional life. If you take a decision, next day it is not visible that it is going to go towards some growth, do not lose yourself up. Do not be disheartened. Rather, be consistent with your analysis. Only do the analysis or say something if you believe it firmly, then stick to it. This is something you need to follow. You need to follow for this while, for actually 2026 also. So, this Mars being in the fifth house, it will make you actively pursue shares, speculations, gambling, investments, trying to have some passive income on the side. It will make you some a bit of agitated within your mind also. It will make you have fluctuations with your confidence also. But trust me, this is at the same time, this is the time which is going to make you very confident self and for a long journey. It's something which is happening temporary for something to be established or the outcome to come for a long period of time. All right. So this Mars exalted, being the lord of the third and the eighth house. And when the third and the eighth lord coming into the fifth house exalted, this also means that this can be victorious for you in terms if you have some problems or some complications on the legal side with your inheritance or with any sort of properties or any sort of fight that you put up for your own right. But be very careful of your reactions. Be very careful how your anger is coming out. Since your fifth lord, the dispositor of Mars itself, is going into the seventh house, your partner or your partnerships can be supportive. So you must take the decision, take the counseling from your partners. Your partner in your career, business partner, or your spouse, your partner. All right. So that's what is very important. But at the same time, this is the time where you fight over your fears because Moon is debilitated in the third house. Your own fears are going to play with your mind, are going to make you restless with your mind, with your beliefs, with your understanding. And try not to take things negatively. Because this moon being debilitated in the third house gives you very negative mindset. All right. And that basically is going to affect your decisions. And then you will have to rectify those decisions. So, how about you don't let those fears take over your logical mind? All right. So, that's what I have for Virgos. And also for these 2 months, you will be reading a lot, you'll be researching on information a lot. Now, lastly, we have the zodiac sign of Libra. And they have Mars exalted in the fourth house. This is the best time for you to get either purchase a property or purchase a home, purchase a machinery, or even purchase a vehicle. So, Mars exalted in the fourth house, conjunct Sun and Venus. Mars is the lord of your seventh house and your second house, second and seventh coming into the fourth house. So, your finances, your partner's preference, everything is going to go towards comforts, towards the fourth house matters. That's the reason I said that there could be a purchase of a home, a land, fixed asset, or a machinery or something that is comforting that you get within your home, like AC, any sort of machinery, right? Any like air purifiers nowadays now that have become so important, right? At the same time, you will feel distant with your emotional self. Your fearful self is actually affecting the way you look towards nourishment, the way you look towards finances. So your fears are actually coming through your finances, through your family, and that in a way is projecting in your personal life, in your family environment, in your home environment. Now, this is the time for you to fight back, bring in order, and you'll be like, enough is enough. Now things need to get in order, and now I am the one who's going to bring in order onto my home dynamics, because my peace of mind has been struggling and troubling because of whatever things are going on within the family, whatever things are going on with the finances. Now you yourself are bound to bring in that change, bring in that transformation with your own efforts, with your own skills, with your own action, so that you can make a better place for yourself. At the same time, you would want to make in some changes in regards of your home environment or even your home location. So this Mars is the lord of your seventh and the second house coming into the fourth house. That means your money and income is coming into the fourth house out of you acting responsible towards your house, towards your family. So your family would need some help, or either your family is going to be the one to help you within your home, within some significant expenditure that you have to make. Even your partner is going to also be supportive. But on a whole, it is showing me a very, very strong and strict dynamics in the fourth house. See, planets like Mars and Sun are never welcomed in the fourth house because they try to project their utmost malefic control into your comfort space, into your peace of mind, your peace, your happiness. So, this Mars and Sun are trying to control your peace, but rather in the transit, it is showing that there is a need for you to project a control or controlling self. Otherwise, you will not be able to rectify that environment. So, definitely, I see fights, definitely, I see disturbance within your home, but that particular disturbance, that particular fight, and that particular you know disruptive energy has to come there to bring in balance, to restore the balance. All right. So the whole of this transit of Mars, exalted in your fourth house, is about you going through that disturbances, that fights, and that, you know, uh, that disturbing environment within your home, but only to make it better. And for this matter, you internally will actually be very fearful that what if my family goes away from me? What if my family is not happy from this? My family gets away from me because of this reaction. But at the same time, this is something which is necessity of the moment, and that's why it needs your action. It needs to be done, and also your responsibility, your provision is going to be required towards the fourth house matters. You have to be disciplined and organized with your provision towards your home, towards your family, towards your home environment. And if you are neglecting the responsibilities of your home, you'll be forced to take those responsibilities. And for this matter, your mother will actually act as a significant part of this transformation. Something related to your mother is going to trigger this transformation. All right. So, guys, this was my analysis about Mars transit in its exaltation stage. I hope this helps you, taking certain decisions, moving around within this exaltation phase. So, we'll see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.